Oh yeah, sexy biscuits. Nice.
Longboard Blues, 1975. A YouTuber is on the rise. Reviewing games late at night and sometimes friends. But Longboard Blues, 1975.
Hey YouTube, Lawn Boys Post 1975. Yeah, retro video game comparisons. You've read the title. It's Star Wars. It's a series that, you know, I mentioned in the prior one I did a couple of weeks ago that I started, you know, that I last did a year or so ago. But it's something that I really want to bring back. And I think now that we're in December, the elephant in the room that everyone wants to talk about is the new Star Wars movie. I know that I'm super excited about it. So I wanted to do a comparison of one of my favourite arcade machines of all time, the original 1983 Atari Star Wars. You know, that amazing, well, if you're of my generation, of course you will know, that amazing vector graphic, you know, arcade machine, particularly the one that was the full sit-down one with the speakers inside and that amazing yoke. I don't know why I'm doing this now. As always, I'm sure there are comparison videos of this out there already. This is mine. I can only play the ones that I have access to. So for the purpose of this video, the ones I want to compare are obviously the main version. I want to compare the Spectrum version because it's, you know, my first home version I got to enjoy as a kid. The Commodore, the Coleco, and yes, the Atari 2600. As I said, mixed bag. I have played the 5200. I used to be able to emulate it on my Wii, but for some reason it's gone tits asunder and no longer works. But just as I said, it's one of my favourite arcade machines of all time. I've never forgot my memories of it as a child, walking into that arcade in Minehead and just hearing, you know, synthesized speech of, you know, the actors from Star Wars just absolutely blew me away and has one of the best yokes ever. So let's get into this. Okay, so this is the original. This is Star Wars Arcade, released in 1983 by Atari. I had to say, it's one of my fondest memories. To be fortunate enough to grow up, you know, in the period when this was a machine in the arcades. Because if you think about it, 1983 was when Return of the Jedi came out. The full sit-down cabinet, even though it wasn't hydraulic, was absolutely amazing because it had speakers inside, you had voices talking to you, you know, sampled the voices from the movie, and this amazing yoke. It's going to be quite difficult to play this on my GameCube pad, and as far as I can remember, the arcade version that's hidden in Rogue Squadron 3 also suffers from the same problem, which is, you know, your pad self-centers all the time, so it means holding it in a position to shoot the ties, unlike the yoke on the original arcade machine, is absolutely balls horrifically hard. But this is just the stuff of my childhood. Let's put some money in. Nice. That was just groundbreaking when you were a kid. You know, obviously it's quite short, there's only a couple of levels, and it keeps rinsing and repeating and getting more difficult. You got a certain number of shields, which means unless you know, if you can't shoot the lasers, then they deplete and then you die. Right. Right. We'll go with easy. I do like the way that your guns, your turbo lasers move up and down like that. Right. So, like I said, I'm doing it on an analog stick. As you can see, it dances around the screen like a mofo. Right. There we go. Oh shit! It's so difficult to shoot them. But yeah, I mean, it's absolutely basic and crude by today's standards, but you got to remember, this was pretty much as close as you got. Or this was, sorry, state-of-the-art 3D when this game came out in the arcades. Albeit wireframe. Nice. Music's excellent. There's the Death Star. What a great name. It says exactly what it does on the tin. Right, Dread Stage. I mean, you would have to have done this in the arcade, right? Shooting is a bit awkward, as I said, so I'm just going to basically avoid their lasers, which is going to get proper tits for us, isn't it, when if we get to a next level. Oh shit, how the fuck did I miss that? Yeah, trust you. Again, turn off your fucking military hardware that we spent billions of dollars on and listen to a dead man, because that's not going to scare the people on the ground, is it? Oh bollocks, I missed. Can I do it on D-pad? No. It's so sensitive. I wonder if it's going to be like this when I play the other versions. It's been a while. Fuck me. Yay! That's so smooth and looks tasty and delicious, although the explosion's a bit crap. Awesome. Now this time, once you get through the first wave... Oh, my shield... Do my shields go back up? We're going to have towers, aren't we? Oh, they're angry. I suppose you'd be angry too if you just blew up that much, you know, expensive military hardware. More samples than I remember. Oh shit! There's more fucking lasers than I remember, just for level 2 already? I've yet to destroy a bloody TIE fighter. They're laughing their ass off. Yeah, this bloke's coming to blow us up. I don't fucking think so. Right, towers. No, the surface first. Right. Oh shit! I get spanked a Rooney right here. Bollocks, bollocks, bollocks. Do you know everyone says bollocks in the future, even though it's in the past? That blew my mind as a kid. Ooh! Ooh! Why do I feel like I'm shooting dairy milk chunks? Why is my hand cramping up? Right, well you get the general idea. On to the next version, methinks. So this is Star Wars Arcade on the ZX Spectrum. It's a 48K version. It was released by Domark in 1987. Right, define keys. I'm going to play this on keyboard 5 because I want to be as close an experience as it was to me as a kid. There is a kind of hooky version of this that I've got a video on my channel called Starstruck, 3D Starstrike, sorry, Starstruck, that's a different game. Which some people generally consider a better version of Star Wars because clearly it's based on the arcade machine, but it actually had sound. Right, so Q up, A down, O left, P right, M fire, X quit. Won't quit because I'm a fucking Jedi. Right, 1, keyboard. Vector Graphics obviously developed it, even though it was published by Domark. Right, 0, continue. Now, it's a little bit slower, as you can see from the title scroll on the... oh, I've got the controls inverted. Actually, that might work from the scroll on the arcade version, but then you would expect, even though the limited palette, it could do a pretty decent job. Right, right. As I said, no sound, but I don't have to worry about the joystick joystick constantly, you know, self-centering. Now, obviously, the screen is a lot smaller. The ties are a little bit more crude, but I mean, it's a 48K machine. What do you expect? Oh, was that Darth tie? The laser effects don't have any colour as they come, you know, flying towards you. Actually, invert works quite well on this. Who knew? They must have been able to do sound. I mean, if they did it on 3D Star Strike, I mean, that is a little bit disappointing. It seems to actually be harder. Could I shoot him? No. Then the first level on the arcade. Interesting. Got the keyboard too close to me. It's giving me cramp. Yeah, you know what? It's pretty impressive. Can't destroy you because you deaths. Well, pretty much, isn't he? Look at his helmet. Darth TIE Fighter. Should he be on the first stage? Ooh. Saucy. Right, I wonder what it's going to look like when the Death Star appears. Right, where are my shields? Still got 8 shields. That's good. Ship TIE Fighters. No, I'm just going to sit and let them bitch slap me. Right, is it going to scroll in? Ah, you ain't getting back out. Yeah, that's, you know, that's pretty good. Again, as I say, oh, it's not complete sphere though, is it? I'm quite impressed with that. The trench is pretty saucy too. Oh. Bit tight. Yeah. Oh shit, can I shoot the crap on the walls? Oh, 4 shields. They're just absolutely pelting me. Right, I don't know how I'm gonna, with no sound, shit. Did I get shot then? I didn't lose a shield. With no sound, how am I gonna know when the exhaust port's coming up? That's gotta be the biggest weakness on this. Be interesting to see when I get to the Commodore version whether that has sound or not. Right, is it coming up now? Fucking hell. There we go, there we go, there we go, there we go, there we go. Right. No. Gosh. They really don't want to lose their space station. 3 shields. Shit. I'm not gonna. This is totally harder than the arcade. What a weird thing to say. 1 shield. Shield gone. Bollocks. Wow. I'm really surprised. This is a lot harder than the arcade. Even though it's got, you know, no self-centering. Quite surprised with that. On to the next port, methinks. Okay, so that's really cool. Right off the bat, Star Wars Arcade on the Commodore 64 has some actually really good sampled speech of Alec Guinness. Although with that loading screen there, or title screen, what the fuck is up with Solo's gun? It looks like a cigarette lighter. So let's get into this and see how it compares to the Spectrum. Right, so it was released by Domar in '87 and developed by the same company. Listen to that. Yeah, you've got music as well as sound effects. I'm sure the Spectrum could have done musical sound effects. I mean, the 1:8K version was out at the same time, or in '87 I should say. Right, let's get into it. Right, that's really nice. Right, wave 1. Oh, it's not inverted. That's a bit weird. Oh, they don't mess around, do they? Shit. Nice, bye. Right. That's kind of impressive. Look, there's a yellow bar across the Death Star. I mean, like I said, you would expect more colour. They're proper firing fucking shit at me. But, yeah, this is, I mean, it's as cramped as the Spectrum screen, if that makes sense. The one thing I am noticing straight away is, because it's so bloody difficult, see, look at that, to shoot ties, is I would say that the collision detection on the Spectrum was slightly better. They're kind of roughly the same shape, you know, they're not as detailed or as nice as the arcade as you would expect, but because of the colour in it, particularly on the laser bolts and stuff, it is a stronger, you know, port of the arcade than the Spectrum version. It pains me to say that, being a Spectrum fanboy, but you know, back in the day, if I'd played this, I would have had to have said, you know what, alright Commodore kids, you can have this in the Playground Wars. It looks more like the arcade, and also you have the speech, which would have just blown my tiny little mind. Right. 9 shields. Did I start with 8 on the Spectrum? I don't know. Look at it. I can shoot their laser bolts, but shooting them, it's just... I can't get him. He's off the screen. Not cricket. Come on. Wow. Why can't I shoot the fucking ties? Again, can't get him. Right, interesting to see how the Death Star, you know, zooms in. Oh, shit. Aye, it's so precise. Like I said, it was... No, thank you. Starting to feel like a failure. Right. Okay, that's really nice. That is really nice. Right. Okay, so we got colour in the trench, which is unfair on the Spectrum because obviously games like Star Strike 3D actually before this, you know, like what was that, 983, 84, which was an unofficial port of you know, Star Wars, a hooky one if you will, managed colour in the trench. But yeah, this is, you know what, this, you know, having loved the arcade machine as a kid, if I came home to play this, you know, before console days, what it would have looked like on the Master System on this, I would have been totally, you know, fucking rocking my tits off. This looks absolutely awesome. Shame we can't have speech in the game, you know, so let go, look. Alright, come on. Where's the exhaust port? Ooh. Shit. Coming up. Right, let's do this. Bye. Alright, that's a really nice explosion. But in my defense, because I'll shit at the Spectrum gameplay, although I have a gameplay from it ages ago if you want to see what it looks like. But yeah, that was, you know, quite impressive. Oh, apparently I can aim now. I spoke too soon. Anyway, right, let's head to the Coleco version. That should be quite, it's Darth's tie. That should be quite interesting to compare against this, because of all the versions I'm going to play, that would probably be the one that had any potential to be near the Commodore 64 version. Okay, so now it's Star Wars Arcade on the ColecoVision, released in 1984 by Parker Brothers. Now, what's interesting about this version is it obviously predates the Commodore and the Spectrum version by 3 years, so I'll be very interesting. I'd be very interested to see how this holds up. Right, let's get into it. Right, so less waves. Select a Death Star. It's not inverted, and there's less waves. There's less bloody Death Stars. Right. Right. Your laser effects are a bit pants. Your fireballs glow. It's got music. Oh, look at him spinning out. That's absolutely really awesome. Yeah, it's got music. I don't know what the loop's like on it, but pretty good. Yeah, so like, you know, the laser. I'm assuming the Commodore was more powerful than this. I don't know. Don't quote me. But you know, you got your shield marker like you do in the arcade at the top. One thing I will say is the tides don't actually come by or get close. Ooh. Okay, and that was the shortest level ever. Your X-wing looks really nice. Your trench is kind of barren. There's a frame count in the top left-hand corner. I do apologise. Okay, yeah, this is like driving down the high street in the middle of the night. Oh shit! I don't like that. That effect's really jarring. And the lasers are quite small, so they seem to be really difficult to shoot. But like I said, you know, this is 1984, so maybe other people got a chance to look at this and... Did I get it? And, you know, yeah, I did. No shield, no shield, no blow up, you think, but, you know, got a chance to, you know, look at it and work out, you know, a better way to do it. Right, let's see if... That was really quick, I will say that. Right, let's get Darth fucking tight. No. Ooh. Collision detection's better than the Commodore version, I'll say that. Ooh, I mean, it's Star Wars Arcade. Again, you know, whether I think the Commodore version is better right now, there's no denying as a kid, particularly in 1984, because as I said, it wasn't on the spectrum of the Commodore at this point, I would have been, you know, probably happy, you know, coming home and getting to play this, you know, as a kid. It would have really, you know, like, holy shit, I got Star Wars. Okay, that's quite kind of cool. Is it vector graphics? I wouldn't go as far to say, but, you know, it's a tower stage. They seem to be a little bit awkward to avoid. Ow, shit, like that. Oh, bollocks. Ooh! Right, anyway. Oh, shit, that flickering effect is really nasty. How do I shoot you fucking... There we go. Right, yeah. To the last version that might surprise you. Let's go and have a look at the Atari 2600 version. But yeah, I'm quite impressed with this. Okay, so this is Star Wars Arcade on the Atari 2600, released by Parker Brothers in 1984, pretty much the same time as the Coleco version. Sorry, couldn't talk. You would argue that it's not fair for me to compare this to, you know, the other versions, because what an ambitious, you know, bloody port to put this on the Atari 2600. But immediately you saw that it had music. Oh, its fireballs are coloured. Don't like that effect there. It does look like vector graphics, and I've got sound effects, so already it's got stuff. I'm not saying it's a better version, but already it's got, it's the Death Star, it's got stuff over the Spectrum version. Okay, now that's actually really impressive. I mean, how do you simulate 3D on a machine with this low a level of memory? And that's really cool. Always surprises me when I play this. The one thing I will say is I can't move my crosshair while I'm firing. It almost technically has to be move and nudge or stationary, which, you know, I ain't gonna hold it against it because it's a fucking Atari 2600. Ooh, bollocks. Shit. Apparently someone beat me to it and shot all the tops off these towers. Interesting that the tower stage was there. Now this is the bit that always amazes me. Look at it. Oh, it's inverted. Weird. We've got the a trench. I mean, look at it. People think of the Atari 2600 and just think of massive blocks. Now, I'm not saying this is fucking high res or anything, but look, clearly we're in a trench and it moves. The perspective moves, I should say, from left to right. This is so impressive. I would have, you know, I mean, maybe it did predate the ColecoVision, but you know, obviously the Atari 2600 was a system I never had back in the day as a kid. But, oh, I blew up. Did I shoot the exhaust port? But this, you know, back then, this would have been fine for me back home. It looks and feels like Star Wars Arcade. I have to say, You know, when people think of the Atari 2600, and as I said, think blocks and shit like that, look what they're doing here. Is that Vader's tie? I don't know. I mean, clearly, it is. As crude a version as it is, it's Star Wars Arcade. So to sum this up, this is quite difficult. Obviously, there's no comparison to the original arcade version MAME. That of all those versions I played, and this includes the ones I didn't play, you know, such as the 5200. None of them came anywhere near as close to the arcade machine as you would expect. But they're all, you know, decent facsimiles. Pains me to say that as much as I like the Spectrum version, Commodore 64 is superior. If Ick or Dave could hear me saying that back in the past right now, he'd be pissed. It's not its fault as such, because I'm sure it could have done music, I'm sure it could have done sound effects. You would expect the Commodore to have more colour, that's not my problem with it. But yeah, the lack of sound, the lack of music is a little bit disappointing, particularly as I said that there was a 128K machine out at that time. Maybe it was because the same company developed all the, you know, the UK versions. I don't know, but yeah, the Commodore one gets it over that. Although I will say this, the collision detection was far better on the Spectrum than it was on the Commodore. On those two versions compared to the arcade, they were far more relentless right at the start. I was really quite, you know, surprised at that. Then you go on to the Coleco version, which, alright, stuff was in the distance, as I said in the video, you know, stuff was smaller and further away, but it had the sound, which is, again, this is just a chip on my shoulder because of the Spectrum version. The lasers were crap, but, you know, it was Star Wars. Of all these versions, including the 2600, but we'll get to that, I would probably say it was the weakest one. Now you're saying, well, what about the 2600? I have to say, right, of all these versions, the home port, pains me to say, is the best one is the Commodore 64, but the 2600, just for the fact that they managed to pull off Star Wars Arcade on a 2600, yes, there's only 3 stages, is absolutely, excuse me, mind-blowing. So I have to say, Commodore 64 version may be the best home ports that I have access to, but there, you know, there has to be a special Brucey bonus for what they managed to do with the 2600. Anyway, this was my comparison of the ones I have access to as Star Wars Arcade by Atari. If you have any requests and I have those games to do a comparison video of, let me know. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.